Yeah, so you brought up a really good point, I think, is that when you grow up believing there is truth and you grow up seeing it exampled for you, right? Then you grow up comfortable with the truth, and the only times you're not comfortable is when you're trying to hide it, but then eventually the truth exposes that. But if you don't grow up with the concept of truth, then you're not comfortable with it. And I think a lot of people aren't comfortable with the truth these days. And I think it was more prevalent when we were growing up. And of course, if you grow up in a household or in a mindset that there is truth, you can get comfortable with it, where a lot of people just run from the whole concept of truth, and they got to make up their own truth and do something to get out of it, I suppose.
Yeah. And you don't have to think twice about what you're doing. What happened, and that's all there is to it. And go move forward, what I mean? Anything
Right.
comes up, well, you just tell them the truth. What are you can do? Anyway, yeah, it's a good thing. And that was important to me too. A dad, a father figure, usually, I'm not always, but usually he's probably one of the highest authorities on the inside of you as far as life is concerned. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's a higher authority, and if he says something's a certain way, well, then usually you go with it. And when I turned to Jesus, it was a neat. I was glad for that aspect of Dad, because hammering in me that you have to be a man of your word. Jesus will make you a man of your word. He'll do that. That's what he does. And that thing about the truth. Hey, truth. Jesus is the truth. And it just made it. I don't know. I think it made it easier for me to, wow. I don't know, cling to Jesus. It made me feel good. I felt like all right. It was just a good thing. It had a good effect.
Very good. That's good. So I have a couple scriptures here. I want to share a couple scriptures. The first one is from Proverbs 16:25, and it says, "There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death." But the second one brings out a more positive alternative. It's Psalm 85, verse 10, and it says, "Mercy and truth have met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed." So there's, if you're running from the truth or you're using the truth, in a bad way, it leads to death. But if you're willing to say, okay, that's the truth, that's up to it, you get the mercy and the relationship gets restored. Mercy and righteousness have kissed. And that means they come together, and that's, we mess up a lot, and we don't always do what we're supposed to do. But when we realize there is truth, then we can receive the mercy, right? And we can have relationships with people and with God restored, because we can we're comfortable with the truth. And that's what we really want. We really want, we want the tension to go away of the lies, and and the darkness to be pushed away, and the freedom to have the mercy and the grace that goes along with accepting the truth and moving on from there. So
that's the great and grand thing about Jesus. And you can't unpack this in all of it, but he says that he is the truth. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And so that means he's the truth about our very existence, and our existence before him, before we connect with him, is whatever, we share a little bit about ours, whatever everybody's. I'm not condemning anybody, man. But then when you meet him, the truth about our existence is he loves us, and he's had a plan before we even started doing wrong, right, or anything else. He had a plan. And from wherever you come from, and whatever the consummation of you is, when you meet him, light or truth comes on the scene, you know what I mean? And then from there, he just leads you forward into it. And like you said, with mercy, loving kindness. That's what grace is all about, because the truth is, he has a plan. It involves you and him and eternity. But he's the way. He's the only way you can get there. You know, the only way you can move forward from wherever into truth. And we need his truth because it's the way, the truth, and the life. Those three things, we experience them personally. We experience what that means. Amazing. It's amazing. That's why we're hooked. That's why there's so many millions of people willing to die, you know, for Jesus Christ, because without him, you can't live. Not really, but you don't know life. So he says, what? Continue in the word, you'll know the truth. The truth will make you free. Man, that's got to be, that's some words to hear. But wait till you experience that. You have to experience that to know what it means, you know.